morning.
Good morning.
Matthew Camardella, and as Gregory mentioned earlier, I serve as counsel to the association. Someone so aptly put earlier this morning, the association didn't need an attorney until Gregory became president. In any event, I've been granted the privilege of introducing our next speaker this morning, and that is Patricia Shiu, who most of you know is Director for the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs. Prior to being appointed Director of the OFCCP, Department of Labor by President Obama, Patricia Shiu served as the Vice President of Programs at the Legal Aid Society Employment Law Center in San Francisco. Ms. Shiu joined the Employment Law Center in 1983 as a staff attorney, where she focused primarily on employment discrimination, including sex, LGBT, national origin, disability, and race-based discrimination and harassment, individual and class action cases. Ms. Shiu was the director of the Society's Work and Family Project and advocated for the passage of California's Family Rights Act, the Family and Medical Leave Act, and paid sick leave. She has litigated numerous cases under these laws. Ms. Shiu has also litigated educational access class action cases under Title IX and disability laws. Ms. Shiu began her legal career as an associate with Pillsbury, Madison, and Sutro in San Francisco. She was the president of California Women Lawyers in 1987. She was appointed to the Civil Rights Reviewing Authority for the Department of Education in 1993 by Secretary Richard Riley. She served as the vice president of the National Employment Lawyers Association. She was recognized in 2009 with the Joe Morozumi Lifetime Achievement Award. She is the 2002 recipient of the Abby J. Lehman Pursuit of Justice Award and the Pacific Asian American Bay Area Coalition's Women Warrior Award. Ms. Shiu is a graduate of the University of San Francisco School of Law. It's my privilege, my honor to introduce her to you this morning.
Thank you, Matthew, and thank you, Chambers, and all the staff and leaders who helped organize this summit. We are grateful to be welcomed so warmly to your beautiful city. It's the first time that I've been here, and I'm happy to be here. If what happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas, I can assure you that what we say here and do here in Atlantic City will not stay here. Our discussions, our interactions, our collaborations must follow us home in order to fulfill the mission of this conference, to secure the strength and the prosperity of our nation through fair and inclusive workplaces. It is an honor to join you and all the members of the American Association for Affirmative Action, as well as our hosts from the New Jersey Affirmative Action Officers Council. I'm going to transition into some acronyms soon enough, but first I want to highlight the importance of two words in the names of both of our host organizations: affirmative action. That phrase has taken some licks in recent years. It's been poll-tested, focus grouped, and manipulated into meaning something that it does not. You and I know that there are leaders on both sides of the political divide who have questioned whether we even need affirmative action anymore. And sadly, some opponents of our work have stooped to purposefully twist the meaning of affirmative action by conflating it with quotas. Well, let me tell you, as someone who enforces affirmative action every day, I think we should spend more time enforcing it and educating the American people on what it really means, and less time wringing our hands about whether it is politically popular enough. Affirmative action is our national commitment to fight wrong, to redeem the promise of America, and to ensure that the doors of opportunity are open for all Americans, even if we have to pry them open from time to time. I know my friend Shirley Wilshire is pretty good at prying doors open. It has been her life's work. As my predecessor from the Clinton administration, Shirley championed equal opportunity employment for millions of American workers. Her legacy at the Department of Labor is one that I honor, and I am proud to have the opportunity to work not in her shadow, but in her light. Because that's what civil rights is all about, bringing light where there has been darkness, hope where there has been despair. When I joined the Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs almost 2 years ago, my first task was to get us back to Shirley status, to resuscitate an agency that had been left to wither on the vine for nearly a decade. And I am proud to report that with the commitment of President Obama and the leadership of the Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis, OFCCP has increased its staff by 35% and its budget by 25%, bringing us back to where Shirley left things in 2001, back to Shirley status. There's Shirley back there. So Shirley, I want to thank you for setting the bar so high. And for being a friend, a mentor, and a cheerleader as we aim to raise and pass that bar time and time again. Finally, I want to thank all of you who are committed to the causes of civil rights and equal opportunity in our country. Those values are shared by my incredible staff at the OFCCP, including some of whom who are here today and will be attending this summit. And if those of you who work for OFCCP could just stand to be recognized, I'd really appreciate it. These are some of the nearly 800 men and women who are on the front lines each and every day, fighting to protect workers from discrimination, promote diversity in our workplaces, and enforce the laws which have said for 45 years that discrimination has no place in America. When any person is kept from realizing their full potential because of factors that have absolutely nothing to do with their skills, their talents, their character, and their work ethic, then that's bad for society. It's bad for the country, and frankly, it's bad for business. And that is where government has a role to play. The poet Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. Well, it's been more than 45 years since Selma and Montgomery, more than 45 years since the passage of the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, since the creation of the EEOC and the drafting of Title VII. Since the March on Washington and the courageous journey of the Freedom Riders, like Flonzie Brown Wright, who you will honor tomorrow. These are events that echo across nearly 5 decades and call on us to do better because we know better. And what I know for sure is that we have made much progress. Attitudes have shifted, hearts and minds have changed, laws have changed, and our country is better. Government must also change. Our turf battles have to end. So, under the Obama administration, we are working more closely than ever with our colleagues at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and at the Department of Justice. And later today, you will hear from my dear colleague, Chairperson Jackie Varian, who chairs the EEOC. And you should know that our agencies are working side by side on many joint efforts to end pay discrimination, improve enforcement, refer cases, coordinate strategies, maximize resources, minimize duplication, and end discrimination. We are joined in this partnership by Tom Perez, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights in the Department of Justice. We're doing this because, like the President, we believe in a unified civil rights agenda for this country. Just as intelligence agencies must share information to protect our national security, so too must our civil rights agencies work together to safeguard the rights of all workers. This is more than just our work. It is part of our commitment to building a fairer and more inclusive America for all workers. Before I joined the 17,000 dedicated men and women at the Department of Labor, I spent 26 years as a public interest civil rights lawyer in California. I fought discrimination on behalf of immigrants and people with limited English proficiency. I fought for Asian American garment workers in sweatshops and African American factory workers in the Deep South. My clients ran the gamut from taxi cab drivers, veterans, individuals with disabilities, pregnant women, and gay and lesbian Americans who feared being outed at work. And what I learned is that workers are safer, more secure, more productive, and more powerful when someone has their back. That's why I believe in labor unions, It's why I believe in community-based organizations, and that's why I believe in good government. Over my career, I've learned a few simple truths. Workers want to be treated with fairness. They want to be valued in their workplaces. And above all, they want to work. And work is not simply about a paycheck, it's about respect. Having a job is about dignity and an individual sense of integrity, self-worth, financial stability, and long-term security. Those are our values at the Department of Labor. We want a 21st century American workforce that looks like, sounds like, and truly reflects the diversity of 21st century America. I am proud to serve with our Secretary Solis, whose vision of good jobs for everyone recognizes that we all have a role to play in our economic recovery. The vision of good jobs for everyone is firmly rooted in our commitment to reforming Washington and to making the economy work for all Americans. Much of what we do, therefore, is specifically focused on getting people across the nation back to work and ensuring that the reach for good jobs is truly within the grasp of everyone.